I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes. This episode, we're getting into the new movie, Him, from Monkeypaw Productions. Lots of feelings I think we both have about this picture. But first, we're going to dive into some of the headlines of what's happening in Hollywood really quickly. And I just have one this episode. I wanted to hear your kind of reaction to this, Ray. So it involves one Taylor Swift, which I know, beloveds. I know. Why am I talking about this, beloved? And it's a movie podcast. Well, you will remember that last year, I believe it was, she released her Eras tour in the theaters.
And then right after that, our girl Beyonce released
And right after that, our girl Beyonce Giselle Knowles-Carter did the same with the Renaissance, right? And We Got Our Life. Yeah. So she is doing something similar again. Okay. She is directly partnering with AMC to hold what she's calling like a release party for her album that's coming out. And she's charging $12, for this situation. And October 3rd through October 5th at AMC Theaters throughout the world, and as well as additional theaters because AMC is partnering with another entity to expand it to other theaters. Taylor Swift fans will be able to go to the movie theater, see the new music video for her latest single at the time, The Fate of Ophelia. And then she's also going to be showing never before seen behind the scenes footage of how they made it, cut by cut explanations of the music, of what inspired the music, and a brand new lyric videos, from the album. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form interested in this white lady's stuff, but this example, right, of artists, creatives going around the traditional distribution systems to directly engage with movie theater companies and chains, that interests me. Yeah. And I'm wondering we know that Beyonce was paying attention last time. So I'm just wondering if she's paying attention this time and she wants to put all the visuals together for both Renaissance as well as Cowboy Carter, because we know she got those too, and give us a little something as we wait for Act 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for creating an event out of going to the movies because anything that brings folks into the theater excites me. I'm not particularly excited about Taylor Swift's release. Swift. Yeah, I'm not a Taylor Swift enthusiast.
I'm not going to see this.
I'm not going to yuck your yum.
I'm not going to see this.
Hopefully our girl B will follow suit and give us a little something from Cowboy Carter, because I did love watching Renaissance in theaters, although I'd seen the concert in person as well.
Absolutely.
It was an experience. So
I can't wait till I can, watch it on the streaming.
Same. Hopefully she will give us Renaissance on streaming soon, but Cowboy Carter would be nice.
Now, I want to ask you a quick follow-up question, because you did say you like, the eventizing of, the movie-going experience. I want to ask you about something I know you did recently, which is very much in line with this. I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't talk about this before we started recording, but the walk... Walk to Remember? What's the name of the thing?
Child, no, it's The Long Walk.
The Long Walk.
Yes, yeah.
But you did one of the screenings of The Long Walk, which is this movie about little boys, right, who have to go on, who are forced to go on this very long walk, and they're like competing to save their lives. And the person who makes it to the end, quote unquote, wins, or that's what the trailer says. Yeah. But you went to the screenings where they had the audience walking on treadmills.
Yeah. It was quite an experience. I think I may have texted you right out of that. Like, I think I have hit a new low. Because, like, as I mentioned, I love eventizing film experiences. Like, I come from a marketing background in film and TV, and I thought that was really intriguing as a concept, considering the conceit of the film is about a group of young men.
Yeah.
Ooh, the block is hot.
Okay, they looking for you? They're not looking for me. Well, actually, they might be looking for me with this administration.
But yes, The Long Walk is a Stephen King adaptation, and we've actually gotten quite a few movie adaptations of his work in the recent year. And it was my favorite film, if that's worth anything. But Lionsgate did do a special invite-only screening type of situation where they invited influencers, press folks, and Janelle Monet, she also participated.
Oh.
For the experience of literally walking the entire film at the same speed as the characters in the film.
And how long was the movie?
It was almost 2 hours.
Jeez.
So like an hour and like 50-ish, I think. I may be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But we were walking at like 3.4 miles an hour on a walking pad, which is not a treadmill, and also complicated the experience a bit because a walking pad is slimmer and people were literally stumbling across that. So it added to the anxiety of the experience. But we walked upwards of almost like 6 miles during the duration of that film. And
I love that for you.
It was an experience.
Well,
it was immersive. And the movie was actually good. We can maybe get into that at another time. But yeah, that I think adding those types of touch points for folks to like go out to the theaters and kickstart conversations is interesting to me. So Little Miss Taylor, we're gonna see.
Yeah.
But Beyonce, please check in.
I do want Beyonce to check in. I do want to just wrap this up by saying, that's wild that you went to that. You
I know, but I made it.
You did. Everyone made it.
No,
right?
there were
yours.
people who did not make it, and they very much so. The premise of the event was that like if you fall off or can't continue, you literally can't finish the rest of the film. So the reward was literally just getting to finish the film, which I was like, damn,
fine.
Am I down that bad about movies that I'm willing to walk an entire movies for an incentive? But to see the film.
And also y'all, I mean, I know I'm dragging this out, but was anybody eating? Wow.
You couldn't. Yeah,
also,
I mean, and if you wanted to drink water, there was no like pedestal for you to like grab it from. You had to literally like raise your hand and ask one of the drill sergeants to like give you your water bottle to drink during it. So it was a commitment.
Okay, yeah. I have follow-up questions, but I guess I will ask that off the microphone because my God today. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to dive into our review of the movie Him. Welcome back to Seated. We're going to dive into our review for the movie Him, okay? So now, what is this movie about? Okay, when it comes to football, Cameron Cade, who's played by Tyriq Withers, he's like the next big thing, right? The next best thing, next big thing. But when the high school star doesn't get drafted into the league, his only way to greatness is through the GOAT himself. And the GOAT himself is played by Marlon Wayans, okay? That character's name is Isaiah. Now, when Cameron Cade gets the opportunity, or I should say, fumbles the opportunity to be drafted into the big league, he is granted this, golden ticket to go to Isaiah White's compound and train with him specifically for a week. And the idea is that going through this week of training will get you in front of that team's owners and they will sign him to his rightful place. Okay. So he's determined not to squander that opportunity. And the question becomes, what will he do? Will he make it throughout this week of training? Hijinks ensue. Does he have what it takes? I'll leave it right there. I don't want to say something too spoilery. That is the movie, okay? We're discussing Him. It's directed by Justin Tipping and written by Zach Akers, Skip Bronke, and Tipping. In addition to Marlon and Tyriq, it also stars Julia Fox. Like I said, it's produced by Jordan Peele's Monkeypaw Productions. And I'll get us started with the things that I like.
Okay.
From this film, and I want to start by where I left off with that description, which is that this is a Monkeypaw production.
Yes,
which I think is the thing that brings many people, and they're like, "Oh, Monkeypaw, Jordan Peele, yeah, baby, I gotta check this out." Yeah. Then there was a trailer. Which I also thought was particularly interesting.
And I did watch that trailer, yeah.
Okay. And then there is the movie. Let's dive in. What I like, I want to say I have seen Justin Tipping directed another movie called Kicks.
Oh.
So this is his second, maybe third film. And the movie Kicks was a great introduction, I think, of his sensibilities and his voice and his perspective. And I think that this movie is a great step up for him. And it continues to put me on notice in terms of his sensibilities, his takes, his eye, what he's trying to bring to this language of filmmaking. Him is a movie that makes me pay attention to him. To him being Justin Timberlake, the director.
I feel like we're gonna be saying him a lot, huh?
We will. We will. And so I start off from that point because there is a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think the craft of it and the execution of it shines in ways that other parts it's quite lackluster for me. Okay. But that's why I will start in terms of the first initial thing that stuck out to me after I finished watching. What about for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna need your help on this one. Because him was definitely a head scratcher for me. There were many things I liked. As you mentioned, Justin Tipping is a director of this, and for me, this was the first thing that I was aware of for him from film, at least. I saw that he also directed some episodes of Black Monday, the TV series. So that is kind of as far back as I've seen his work. I was impressed by the style of the film. Like, it had a lot of style, which I think is something that's important for a director. While it does call back to a lot of things that Jordan Peele has done, I think it definitely does stand alone visually as a piece of work. With like things he was doing with what is it called when you see like the skeleton of something?
Sure. The X-ray? Like X-ray
but
vision?
It's like, there's a name for it.
I'm sure there is, baby, but that might be a little, beyond my level of expertise. Yeah. I use, colored people language.
Infrared. I think infrared vision is what I'm thinking of. Yeah. So I enjoy seeing like that visual element in the film. And just like the pictures and like the framing of things was really interesting. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So on that point, right? One of the highlights of this movie is the treatments. That's what I will call it. This like, there are a number, maybe too many shots of the exoskeleton of this athlete or another athlete, right? And things happening to their internal body, but it looks like an X-ray, or it looks like you said in what is it, infrared? Infrared.
Yes, yeah.
You know how like when you watch like military movies sometime, and they do like that night vision, but it also has the heat on top of it.
Yes.
It looks like that. And so the film makes use of that as a means of moving certain story elements along, that's supposed to be like, oh, damage is being done. That motif is what I will call it. I do think that it is central to the movie's success, if we're going to say there are any successes of the movie. But that's one of my less likes. It's one of my less liked elements. Yeah. But it also was a part of that style.
Yeah.
Kind of comment that you made before about what Justin has injected here, that might be of interest in terms of their vision for filmmaking going forward.
Yeah, so I mean, I did enjoy that. The next thing I'm curious about of your experience is performances. Were there any particular performances that you liked in this film?
That I liked? Well, I had performances that I liked better than others. Okay. And so let's just go ahead and dive in to Mr. Marlon Wayans himself. He is I've seen interviews from Marlon in which he has talked about taking on this role as a means of demonstrating to Hollywood, to whomever, what he can do as an actor. he feels that this role, called him. It was an opportunity for him to show sides of his skill set, right? Okay. That you don't get to see in a Scary Movie or White Chicks or, whatever. And I think he was successful in showing greater range than perhaps most people expect from him.
That's a good point. For me, this wasn't the first time I really acknowledged his abilities. A film that I did not love, but I was impressed by his presence in, was the Aretha Franklin biopic.
Yes.
Biopic. How do you pronounce it?
I say biopic. Biopic. Yeah. I say both, actually, depending on the sentence.
Nevertheless, respect.
Yeah.
I paid attention to his performance in that film, and I was like, I'm interested to see more of what he does in a serious role. I know he did another film that I'm not as familiar with.
But that if I'm not mistaken, the Respect role in which he plays Aretha, like an ex-husband or a lover or something like that. And so, if I remember correctly, that role was one of the first ones, even though it's small in that film, where it was like, he's being intentional about, more dramatic, more serious, kind of options. And so it's interesting to me that small role, he spoke more to you, his performance spoke more to you in that smaller role than it did in this film that is centered, in part around him.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But I did think that I thought that he was better than Tyriq.
Okay.
I thought he had a little bit more gravitas than Julia. I also do feel like this is one of those movies that is, I feel like, made in the edit room. And they say this about most movies, right? Shout out to the editors. They say this about most movies, that like the movie is actually not made on set. It's made in the editing room. And I kind of feel that here. And so I felt like there were flickers and glimmers within certain scenes of Marlon's that made me go, oh, there's something there.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I wonder what was edited out, what scenes were taken out that might have made the moments where his acting is supposed to be more on display in this film feel appropriate and earned.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold back some of my critiques, but I did see his performance and I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see you trying.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming none of the performances stuck out to you.
Well, no. One that you kind of panned a little bit was that kind of
Please don't
rose
say
to the
Tyriq.
occasion for me. No, was Julia Fox's, actually. I thought that because she is someone I think is weird in real life, she was able to like deliver what her role needed as Marlon Wayans' character's wife. And, like, she's a social media influencer, so it like felt natural to her. And there was a joke made of her appearance that is also like true to her real life appearance that I thought was just hilarious and landed perfectly in the moment that it was placed. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, Julia, you're holding purpose in this film in a way that I didn't expect, because I thought that she was a stunt cast initially to get like social media conversation going, but I didn't mind her being there. I'm not saying it was a great performance, but I was like, cool,
right?
I'm with it.
But out of all of the acting performances,
she wasn't my favorite. No.
Okay, who was your favorite if you had to choose a favorite?
It was also for me Marlon. It was Marlon.
I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that piece. Just wanted to make sure.
But your point about editing and like the movie, how it was cut, is something that I both liked and have questions about.
Sure.
Because the movie has a runtime of like 90-something minutes.
Yeah.
And I love a tight 90. Like, I'm not here too long. If you can tell me a whole story in this period, I like that.
Yeah.
However, this was one of those rare occasions where I kind of wish there was more time, because I felt like there were things missing that may have been left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. I mean, I try not to look at films at their run time. I try to focus on the story, right? Because if the story is well done, it doesn't matter how long the movie is.
So I say that about genres I don't care for, and I'm not a horror person. So like, if you keep me there too long, I'm probably gonna check out. But with horror films, I'm specifically looking forward to get along and get me up out of here.
I just feel like there is if the movie is well written, if it's well paced, if the actors are doing what they need to do, you know, you will sit there for 3 hours.
You're right, because Brutalist, I was all into that 3-hour epic.
Well, I was not, for the record. But that is one of those qualities, and I even though this is a tight 90, the story needed more.
Yeah.
And so maybe that means it needed more time.
Yeah.
Because one of the things of the film, right, we dropped immediately into action for the most part. Like we have that childhood scene at the very beginning, but then we drop right into action, and it is moving.
Yeah.
But there's some things missing. There's some things missing. Just the things that would make the story, and maybe this is a good point to formally transition into the things that I really didn't like, which is there were later scenes in the film that felt like they had no place, and I'm wondering if that's because earlier scenes in the story were edited out.
Yeah.
And so some of the discourse or the angst or the even the main conflict at the center of the movie, which I guess we won't spoil for y'all, it just didn't feel as earned story-wise.
Yeah.
And I wondered if that's because certain things were left out. I imagine it had to be on the paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now that you mentioned that, going back to kind of like a thing that I did like about the movie, but also back to the performances, I have to mention the actor who played the young version of Cameron Cade, Tyriq Withers' character. I think he actually did a pretty impressive job. He was a kid, like he was playing him as a child. And I think that for what it called for, he delivered. And
not you highlighting the child who's in the movie for 10 minutes.
He didn't do
much,
but I think creating kind of like, because that's the first thing we're introduced to for the character. It kind of creates the psyche of the character. And
Austin Pulliam is his name.
Yes. And so that first portion of the film kind of serves as a prologue. Is that what you?
Yeah, sure.
A prologue that introduces us to like why Cameron Cade, the adult, is who he is, and the settings of his like childhood, you know, that inner child narrative, set him up to be in the circumstances that we essentially see play out in the film. And then we get into like how the film is going to play out as chapters of sorts, by showing each day
of this
with
week
a theme that literally shows up on screen as like day one fun. Which, did you like that feature, or
I don't mind that element in a film, because I do think it can be a great tool to orient the audience to time, to space, to what's going on. So I didn't mind that. But it was to the point of the story and the pacing of it. And to your point about these chapters, after chapter 3, I'm not sure the angst heightened.
Yeah.
And you would think that as the days went on, it would get more intense, more complex, more, you know, just more anxiety
more
inducing.
Tension.
And I don't think that happened for me.
I will say that I think that was a very I don't want to say that.
Say it.
I feel like it was an elementary way of introducing themes plainly to the audience.
Sure. I mean, it is a 90-minute movie, beloved. You said you liked those.
Yes. And
so we need some elementary
more time to get into these things.
Yeah.
So the chapters are broken up by day, which are also presented in Roman numerals, which I don't know about you, but I don't really know Roman numerals that well. So when we started getting into the V's and the IVs of it, I was like, what?
Oh,
which
girl.
one is it? It's like, which one is this?
Girl.
But day 1 was fun. Day 2 was poise. Day 3 was resilience. Day 4 was vision. And the last chapter, day 5, was sacrifice. So we start with fun and end with sacrifice. And by name, these things sound like they should be building tension. Am I correct?
Sure.
But that was something that really wasn't present in the way that I was looking for. So yeah, structure was something that while it worked for the film, I questioned.
Yeah, well, so I don't think the structure is the issue with the point you're making regarding, the structure isn't the problem. The story is the problem. The structure is fine. The story is a problem because the necessary scenes, presumably on these days, that would either add more context for some of the later days or would justify certain things. It would feel earned. It would feel worth it. Yeah. And so that's why I look at the script and the story in relation to what went down in the edit room, and if they were thinking about that 90 minutes, and so they're like, you know what, we can take this out, insert some more skeleton crashes and infrared scenes, and like that'll do the thing. That is what I felt. The more and more I saw those scenes in particular, I was like, oh, you're replacing something. You've took something out. The entire film had a whole lot of style, but not enough substance. Would be my take, which brings me to another point I want to make, which is this movie led me to believe that the trailer led me to believe that it was going to be this really interesting rumination on sports, on the violence of sports, on race. The racial aspect of sports, generally speaking, in terms of who's owning and who's playing, but also in terms of, in this film, we have Tyriq is very light skinned. And that young boy, when in that very first scene, when he's young, we see his also very light-skinned family. His father is played by Don Benjamin, for all of my America's Next Top Model fans out there. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the skin tone that we were talking about. There is a scene in this movie in which when Tyriq goes to the little compound for the training, and it's the day in which they're doing press and media, right? And there's a quick scene in which it's Marlon Wayans standing, Tyriq is in the middle, and then the white lady Julia Fox is on the right-hand side. The photographer says, oh, you look like you could be their kid. Yes.
That is an interesting point, because that is also something that I have questions about in the film, was the choice of casting his parents. Because Tyriq Withers presents very ambiguously.
Well, yeah.
He has a finer hair texture. He's very light, and light to the point of like paleness.
That back in the day they used to call him not back in the day, people still use this language today. Let me shut up, about to get canceled. But like Creole folks, right, who are so fair skinned they could be read as passing, as white. And so he's near there. Yeah. He's in that vicinity of visual cue.
But neither of his parents present in that way. Like Don Benjamin, while very light skinned, he's more of what problematically was called the red bone from where I'm from.
Oh, sure. Come on, Miami.
And he has afro hair texture. And his mother is a deeper brown skin with afro hair texture.
She's around that. Yeah, she's around
so
there.
So as an adult, he doesn't resemble a product of the two of them.
Which is probably fine.
But it is fine. However, there's a point, I can't remember the specific line, but there were a couple of jokes made at his expense of his appearance by Marlon's character about his whiteness.
Yes.
But I was like, that is something that they never dug into in the way that I expected them to.
To that same point, there's a scene in which near the earlier part of the week, they have Tyriq Winter's character, Cameron, stripped down for the physical.
Yes.
And it's shot in a way that made me immediately think of auction block of the you know, the measuring of enslaved folks, and like this which we also always see, you know, invoked in any kind of conversation when we're talking about sports drafts in particular. But that image came to mind, which again cued me up for a kind of what I thought was going to be an intellectual exploration of these particular concepts. And they did very little with it. I'm not going to say that they did nothing with it, but they did very little with it. And so part of me is leaving this film like, am I the problem?
Yeah.
Like, did I just expect something else?
I'm with you.
Because that's what I wanted, but not that's what they presented. Because I wanted something more.
So in the initial casting of Tyriq Withers in this role, I think in our preliminary conversations about the film, like that was something as a theme I thought would be a heavy point of conversation in the discourse that I expected to come. And the fact that it was not really even addressed here was interesting because I know Tyriq Withers because of he was on the Atlanta FX series some years ago.
Sure. He was in that one episode with
that was literally titled Rich Wigga, Poor Wigga.
Right.
I thought that they cast him in this role and in this dynamic to continue
playing over that.
Yeah, and
how he shows up in the world.
But didn't. To your point about the drafting of things, like I don't fancy myself an expert in football. And as a matter of fact, I don't know much about football. But the combine is something that has always been like used as something to say, oh, you're just essentially doing a slave auction ball.
And
that was a letdown for me too. So I'm with you on that. I'm curious.
What you curious about?
You mentioning this reminds me of my movie experience, like my actual physical experience as a person in the theater watching this. What was your movie going experience like for actually watching this film? Like who was in the house? What was that? Like
so
was it in Dolby or IMAX or
I went opening night, obviously. I shouldn't say obvious, but we went opening night. I went with my boyfriend. It was a fine theater. The theater was halfway empty. It wasn't a special theater. I mean, it was special in that there's a balcony, like the seat. I've been to this theater before, but the way this theater was set up was different, but nothing that necessarily impacted the experience. I just noticed that the theater was not as full as I expected it to be, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
But I also understand why now.
For me, it was quite different. So I went to see the 5:15 showing of this in Dolby. Just to get a bit more of an immersive experience. IMAX was sold out, so I could not find an IMAX ticket, which may also speak to like people's preference and experiences. I had a packed house, packed theater.
Oh, see?
You know, snuggled in, got my popcorn. We're seated, no pun intended. And the movie starts, and we get about 15-20 minutes in, and the movie suddenly stops, and the lights come up. And we're like, okay, what's happening? And it was obviously a tech error.
Oh, no.
They come out, tell us, you know, they have to fix something, and they're going to restart it. We wait a little while. They do just that.
Restart the whole movie?
Restart the entire movie from the beginning. Yes. Which
they can't go in the middle?
They couldn't. Whatever. So they do that, start, gets to the same point, and stops again.
I want my money back.
And literally the person comes out, the manager comes out and says, we have to cancel this showing. So I had to try real hard to see this movie.
Oh, dang.
Had to wait in the line with like
whoever was in the
entire theater, people getting their refunds. And so I did catch the next showing, which was in standard format, which wasn't my preference, but fine. So I say that to say that like I really committed to seeing this movie.
Yes, you did.
And
you said it wasn't worth it.
It was. So that's the thing. It was worth. Like I enjoyed the screening experience of watching this movie. But I kept having to see that child's performance because it kept starting in 15 minutes.
I understand.
And so I think that may be why I appreciated it more. But that's also why like the prologue and the chapter stood out so much to me.
Yeah.
But I will say by the time the movie ended, I sat in the I usually wait until the credits scroll, and I sat in the movie like, what what is this movie trying to say? So do you have like a general central idea of what this movie is speaking to or trying to say?
Well, I think it wants to say a lot. Like, I think it wants to comment, and maybe this is also a perception because of the Monkeypaw of it all, which we know that many, if not all of the other Monkeypaw, at least the major ones we can think of, productions do have a central thing it's saying or wants to say. And so I feel like this wanted to say so much, but it did not. Very little of it actually connected. And I think it wanted to talk about sports. It wanted to talk about the price of fame. It wanted to talk about nepotism. It wanted to talk about sacrifice. It wanted to talk about, I think race, right? And the specific unique athleticism and exploitation related to that. I think it wanted to talk about the what people put their bodies through for these things. Absolutely. It wanted to hit on all of that. And it really skimmed the surface of a quarter of all of that.
And that's what kept me watching. I think what made it a good movie experience was because it kept introducing these ideas that it never really interrogated or like paid off in the end.
Yeah. That's exactly. There just was no payoff.
Yeah, and that last scene to me felt like I hate to say this, but it felt like a reshoot. Like it felt like something that was just like dropped in there to throw in a bloody horror element for the film.
Can we just talk? Spoiler alert! We're gonna talk specifically about the last scene of this movie. If you haven't seen it, fast forward about 3 minutes or so. Okay. What?
Yeah.
So you call yourself pushing back against this system that you're already benefiting from because you have his blood in your body.
And you went through all of this.
You done went through all of it, but you're going to call yourself pushing back on it by killing everybody.
Yeah. It was also really confusing to me to like see that and see all of these other non-verbal characters like the cheerleaders and those folks who were just like essentially seeing this thing happen, not having any reaction to it. And it left me questioning, like, are these people actually there? Is this a figment of his imagination? Is he hallucinating? Because if you recall, Marlon Wayans' character earlier on said something about them like he gave this story about, what was it? Something like, they give the blood of the strongest soldier to
the next one.
Yeah, so it can live on, and to the point that he has hallucinations. I'm like, is this a hallucination or is this actually happening? I was like trying to reorient myself to what was reality and what was possibly a figment of his imagination. So do you think that last scene was real?
I do think it was real.
Because even the way the blood spewed out of the man's head that he chopped off felt so like fantastical that I was like, is this an imagination?
A lot of it felt fantastical, but it didn't feel revolutionary. It didn't feel like Django.
Because the man dragged onto like the star mark. He wasn't being pulled. He was literally invisible force was pulling him to that mark.
It is a genre movie, right? So I do think that, part of it is about, suspending reality and belief to a point. But again, it's just the
they threw everything in that damn scene.
There is a lot in that scene, and I don't know that it means anything in the grand scheme of what we have witnessed. And I mean, you are the GOAT. You are the next, right? Your blood is already in this person. This entire situation was actually set up for you so that you could kill Marlon Wayans, because that is, I mean, he was going to try to kill you so he could. That is the process of succession. But that is the process of succession. Yeah. And everyone around you knew that was the process. Can we also talk about how all of the other athletes that are brought in as part of the training, that are part of Marlon's like team, most, if not all of those other athletes are black, except the one white person who volunteers to be the sacrificial lamb
they were, not only were they black, they were
darker
skin black.
Yes. Yeah. They were Marlon's color or darker.
Yeah. there was a lot of that happening that I'm like, they keep
playing
with race dynamics,
but not, and so it's
but
one
not
of those
saying
things,
anything with it.
Put it on the table or take it to the playground. And is how I feel.
So I think I want to see a different version of this film where the reveal that happens in that last act happens in the second act, because we find out that the team owner has been grooming him his entire life, essentially,
yes,
he says.
Yes.
And it's like, I wish we would have learned that earlier in the film so we can see the consequences of what happens after this, as opposed to it just ending with like, well, what happens after he kills everybody?
Yeah. No, I said I would have loved to have some flickers of that reality or that truth seeded throughout the story, as opposed to this what feels like random realization at the end. It feels unearned because we saw that one photo that you flashed back to that one time at the 90 minutes ago. And now you want us to sit here and believe that all of these motherfuckers, including his parents, right, have been part of this overall grooming
for a decade,
for all of this. And you do all the grooming and then he comes and kills everybody.
Right.
Come on now.
Right. And so just imagine if all of this was wedged in the middle of the film, like that club scene where he goes and meets the owners. Like, I feel like all of that could have been in there, and then we see what happens after. Like the character Cameron Cade he never seemed to have a consciousness of what was happening to him. And there were like visual things happening with him arriving in all white to the party. The only one dressed in all white for this ritual that they keep telling him is about to happen, which, did we ever learn what the ritual was? We just see these images of Julia Fox killing people or something. It was a strange scene, but like, I think of what a black man wearing all white means culturally. Like, we just saw Tremel Tillman win the Emmy for his role in Severance in his all white, and then we see the callback of like all the other black Emmy winners wearing all white. That's the thing. I know that like in religion, which is a heavy theme in this, I think, you wear white for your baptism.
Yes.
I know.
And also the Santeria and them folks also wear white.
So I say that to say there is opportunity for this film to be smarter than it ends up being. And I think that is what I was most curious about coming into this experience.
I want to make one last comment before we get to our rating, our seated, skip it, or stream it rating, which is, and this is a positive, so maybe we'll end on a positive note. I did think that the composition and the soundtrack and the music and the audio of it all was appropriate. It was good. It was one of the best parts of the film for me. The composer is Bobby Krylik. I don't know how to say that, but apparently he's known by his stage name, the Haxon Cloak. Me either. But I did enjoy the audio like landscape of the film and the composition, which I feel like made the movie as tolerable as it was for me. I was like, oh, the music, I like this.
Speaking of music,
is helpful.
How did you react to that when they first start the, I guess, training sequence that we see with Marlon and his compound? We hear Lemon Pepper Wings with the freeze scope. Burr, I was like, oh, I know this song, and it was interesting because of like, I think the way the piano sounds, it gives it's like boom, 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 boom. So I thought they were gonna like flip it the way that Jordan Peele is known to do in his films, where like in the trailer,
you expecting the wrong thing.
Yeah, in the trailer for Us, they used the Tupac song. My God, why is it leaving?
I got five.
Yes, and like twisted it, and I thought that was it didn't happen, but yeah, it was still an experience for me.
That's a Jordan Peele specific thing at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, but yes, so I have mixed feelings about this movie. Let's get to our rating. Seated, which means you all should go see it at the movie theater. It's worth the cost. Skip it, which means, skip it, or stream it, which means wait till it get on one of them, platforms.
Yeah.
Where do you fall on this here project?
I think this conversation has kind of shifted my initial idea. Like, this isn't a film I can argue people seeing. While I think the theatrical experience is important for any film, this is probably one you can skip in theaters and stream it. So I would say stream it.
Okay, so you're a stream it.
Yeah.
I think it's a skip it.
Damn.
Completely.
Okay.
I just so much style, not enough substance to make it worth it. I just wanted more. You were almost there.
Yeah.
You were almost there, and also at the same time, too much taquita.
Yeah.
Too much neck. You know.
Yeah. Fair.
And so I'm personally a skip it, which I hate to say because I do feel like this. I want to elevate Marlon doing more dramatic roles. I want to elevate this young black actor who is he has done a handful of projects, but he's near the top at the beginning of his career. I believe I read somewhere that he graduated in 2022
from FSU, and he also is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha.
He is a member, which tracks respectfully.
Yeah, FSU Alpha. So
you know well.
FAMU is across the tracks, which is my alma mater.
Many of the alphas across institutions, respectfully.
We ain't gotta.
We don't. Okay. But yes, I'm gonna say I'm a skip it because I just don't think it goes where it needs to be. So you're a stream it, I'm a skip it. This brings us to some of the critical consensus around the movie. We won't stay too long here, but I did want to mention that the Rotten Tomatoes score, as of our recording, I guess it could go up, but as of our recording, it's at 30%. The tomato meter is at 30%. And the popcorn meter, which is the audience response, not the critic response, it is higher at 59%.
Yeah, well, it's just opening weekend, so I want to say there's hope that it could be better.
To go up?
Yeah,
I don't see it going up, beloved.
Doubtful. Yeah, everyone is pretty hard on this film. I don't think it deserves half a star.
Yeah,
but it's a toughie. It's a toughie.
You okay? Go. You had a critic that you wanted to highlight a quote they said.
Yeah, so I value black criticism.
Sure.
And so I'm going to try.
I do too, for the record.
I mean, you yourself are already black.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the people know.
And so I want to try to always include words from someone who's spoken about the film. I have the first critic review spotlight from Odie Henderson of the Boston Globe, who summed up the film with the following. Somebody should have told the filmmakers that a football spinning on the ground is only terrifying to the team that fumbled it. And unfortunately, I feel like this film was a fumble. And
I see what you did there.
Yes.
I see what you did there. And I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yes.
Okay, y'all. Thank you all for joining us for this conversation on him. We are going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, my favorite segment of the show, Black Cinema Games.
Yes. Back again, and now it's time for my personal favorite segment of this week and every week. Black Cinema Games.
Yes. This is our little fun wrap up to the show. What do you have in store for me today?
All right. So we're going to play the Black Audio Game, which is essentially where I get a little interactive with you.
Okay.
It is a Sonic game, as Sonic as in the sound and not the hedgehog.
Oh, you think you funny.
Yes, and so I'm going to play a sound clip from a film, a black classic film. Well, classic to me and maybe you.
Okay.
And you basically have to guess what film it is. And if you know the scene or the actors, bonus points. So,
okay, cool. So you are testing my black cinema knowledge in this game just based off of the sound.
Yes.
Okay, let's see how well I do. I think I'm gonna eat this for the record. But y'all out there who are listening, okay, let us know how you do. I will give a little minute. I won't be so eager so that people have time because I know I'm gonna do well.
Yes.
At least I hope. Okay, let's go with the first one.
Yes. So, you want a clue or you want to just go in?
Just drop me in.
Okay.
Just drop me in.
Let's go.
What?
I'm breaking you and Jimmy up.
I know what you're doing, Curtis. You're breaking us up because you don't want me with Jimmy. None of you do because you're all jealous. Well, nothing's breaking me and Jimmy up. Nothing.
I feel like you got it.
Nothing's bringing me and Jimmy up. Nothing. Okay, that is Dreamgirls, the Oscar nominated.
Yes,
Dreamgirls. Okay, starring that's Anika Noni Rose.
It
who
is.
is speaking.
She's a FAMU.
Oh, is that what we doing?
Yes, we're striking.
Do I? Am I going to have to expect that every episode?
No, but today you do.
But yes, shout out to Dreamgirls. All another one of my favorite movies that I really, really enjoy.
And as you may have heard, they are reviving the Broadway show.
And I will be there.
You and me both. I'm trying to get...
I will be there.
Get the coins up so I can make the trip.
Okay.
All right, so good job. You got one on the board.
Yes. Okay. I feel like if you know Dreamgirls, you knew that one.
Yeah, that was pretty low hanging fruit.
Yeah. So shout out to me.
We're gonna try another one and see if you can tap in.
Okay.
All right, ready.
They want to spank you.
What?
They want to what? They want to spank you.
Now, that's not a bad thing.
All right.
Oh, come on. They're too possessive.
They want you to be their mama.
And they daddy. And they ugly. Man, we already said they was ugly.
Yes, good and ugly.
Inside out ugly?
If you're ugly inside, you're ugly out.
Oh wow. I do not know this. But it gives, old black women, somebody's drunk.
You're getting there.
I'm like, but it's ugly inside and out.
I'll give you
Is it Steel Magnolias?
It's not. I'll give you a couple
one.
of hints. It was released in 1995.
Oh, girl.
This particular scene was recreated or nodded to in Insecure.
95?
Yes. It features a original dream girl.
Well, I thought I heard Loretta Devine.
You did.
Okay.
So Loretta is definitely up in there.
Okay. So 90s, what is that? Is that Down in the Delta? Is that no, that's Alfred Woodard. Is that My Funny Valentine?
No. I'll give you another
I hate this for me, y'all.
Another actor in the film is Angela Bassett. Damn,
95? Waiting to Exhale?
It is Waiting to Exhale. It's the iconic ladies' night scene.
Okay, which was also recreated in the Noah's Ark movie recently.
Oh yes, it was.
But I don't know. Okay, I should have gotten that. I should have gotten that.
All right, so we got a chance for one more point on the board.
I'm sorry, y'all. Don't take my black card. You say you got one more?
One more,
okay,
yes.
One more.
All right, here we go.
They already got a business in our neighborhood, a good business, occupying a building that had been boarded up for longer than I care to remember. And I've been here a long time.
Man, you've been here a long time.
Yeah, boy. And now, for the life of me, I can't figure this out.
That's all you get.
Okay, so I'm torn between two things.
Okay.
For some reason, I want to say like a Spike Lee joint, like somebody sitting on the stoop, like Ozzie Davis sitting on the stoop.
You are heading down the right lane
and Do the Right Thing or something like that. Is that the movie?
It's Do the Right Thing.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. So,
okay.
Do you know what scene it is?
No. Oh, it is the scene where they're just sitting and it's this big wall behind them. Mm-hmm. It's that scene. Yep. Okay, can I tell you what I thought it was? The other thing I thought it was?
I'm curious.
The score made me think If Beale Street Could Talk.
Oh, I see that. Beautiful score. Yeah.
And
jazzy.
That is what I picked up on, which, shout out to, I think, Spike's, is it father or uncle?
Yes, his dad.
His dad does a lot of does a lot. I don't know people's ages of his scoring and stuff. So that's what I heard, but it sounded like Ozzie Davis, and so I was like, where can I go? So
I figured since I dropped in a rattler, I give you a Morehouse Man.
That's cute. I love that for me. I love that for me. But, and 2 out of 1.
Yes, 2 out of 1.
Or 2 out of 3.
Is 2 out of 3. Yes,
right,
Lord.
2 out of 1.
I'm terrible with numbers, so I'm just like, yeah.
2 out of 3. I'm happy with myself.
Yes.
Thank you.
And another reason is because Spike also has his latest release out, Highest to Lowest, which we ain't got to get into it, but good job. That will wrap up this week's Black Cinema Game.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Thank you for that. Thank you for testing my memory, which you all will learn is very bad. Now we're going to get into our very final segment, which is our Good Vibes Only. This is where we give you all recommendations about things that's all about good vibes, okay? I'll get us started, if you don't mind, because I just mentioned the soundtrack, the score of that film of Do the Right Thing. I talked a little bit about the soundtrack and the composition of Him earlier. And so I want to recommend a few movie soundtracks and scores that I think people should check out. Funny enough, one of them is Waiting to Exhale.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
Because iconic movie soundtrack, like that soundtrack gave us so many like actual singles that charted.
Absolutely.
Okay. Grammys. Okay. Etc. Shout out to Babyface. And obviously Whitney is on that soundtrack. And the second soundtrack Whitney is also on, you already know it, The Preacher's Wife soundtrack, which is, they say, the best-selling gospel album of all time.
Now that is interesting. I didn't know that.
In case you were wondering. Okay. And then I mentioned If Beale Street Could Talk. It was already on my list to highlight the score of If Beale Street Could Talk by Nicholas Britell. It is so beautiful and rich, and it has so much nuance. It is so wonderful. I sometimes listen to it when I'm like, writing and doing work and stuff like that. And so bring back movie soundtracks. Bring back real artists, chart-topping artists doing original music for movies. Okay? I want it. I need it. Please and thank you.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I had an interesting experience with the film that I was really looking forward to, which was a fine film, but the one pain point was that it didn't have an original soundtrack, and it was just a missed opportunity.
And the movie was?
Love Brooklyn. I really was like, this would have been a great movie to have like original soundtrack for. It could have amplified it, I think, in a way that it
I haven't seen that yet, so.
It was cool. It was cool. It was, it was cool. I loved being able to see a mundane black story on film, something that's not overcomplicated,
just regular,
not heavy.
straightforward.
Yeah.
That's real. Yeah. That's real. Okay, what is your good vibes only recommendation this week?
So I'm choosing a movie that I recently saw with my mom. Aww. She visited LA for her first time here since I've moved here. And so I wanted to show her all the things that like I do and love. And so I took her to the Getty. Have you been to the Getty?
No.
It's an interesting place.
And I've been here a decade, y'all.
It's really beautiful. Hard parking, though.
Heard great things, yeah.
Prepare for parking. But there was a showing of a film that I had not seen that is a black queer classic, which I think is included in your book, We See Each Other. Am I mistaken? Or no, Black Queer Canon is where you mentioned this.
Both, probably.
Yes. And it is Watermelon Woman.
The legendary.
Yes. It was my first time seeing it. I never saw it. And I'm really glad I got to see it with an audience because, as you know, I love the audience reactions. And it really amplified that. I saw it with my mom was into it. She laughed at the scene when they're karaokeing, which was really great. And it was a special screening hosted by one of my favorite, I think maybe your favorite critics, Beyondria Jalai.
Love Beyondria.
Which will be my second, recommendation for the week. It's her podcast.
Oh, yes. Annotations with Beyondria Jalai.
Yeah.
Yes.
So those are going to be my good vibes only and things that are making me feel good this week.
I love her podcast in particular. She's interviewing other black film critics about the work, about their craft. You may or may not hear me on an episode coming up soon. Stay tuned. But I love the podcast because some of the names that you've heard us mention or will hear us mention in terms of our critic spotlight will be some of those names who are, so prolific, I would say, in their criticism.
Yes.
So beautiful recommendations. And shout out to Cheryl Dunye, the legend herself, writer-director of The Watermelon Woman. Yeah. I love that. 2 great sets of recommendations for our listeners this week. Okay, y'all make sure y'all dive into them. Ray, that's our second episode.
It is our first review.
Okay, our first review. And it was on him. Of all movies.
I think this was a great start because I'm him.
You so funny. And on that, we're going to say goodbye. We will see y'all next week.
See you at the movies. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap the subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating and review us in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll be bringing you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, you know it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckrow and animation by Zhang Adi, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Heralds. This week's episode was edited by Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slayzhon and FiftyLeven Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. and filmed on location at the Walgood Yard. See you at the movies. Holla!